Coming up on iOS Today, Rosemary Orchard and I, Mikah Sargent, talk about how to send season's greetings this holiday season. Stay tuned.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is iOS Today, episode 631, recorded Tuesday, December 6th, 2022. Send season's greetings in the mail. This episode of iOS Today is brought to you by 8Sleep. Go to 8sleep.com/iOS for exclusive holiday savings and ring in the most wonderful time of night. If you're listening after December 31st, use the same URL, 8sleep.com/iOS, to check out the pod and save $150 at checkout with our normal offer. And by Adigi, the only Apple device management platform that combines MDM with live agent capabilities to manage and secure your Apple ecosystem, regardless of your Mac expertise. Visit Adigi.com/twit for a free 14-day trial to see how Adigi helps you manage your Apple devices in real time, because IT problems can't wait. And by Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. Are you wasting money on subscriptions? Well, cancel your unnecessary subscriptions right now at rocketmoney.com/iOS. Seriously, it could save you hundreds per year. Welcome back to iOS Today, the show where we talk all things iOS, tvOS, watchOS, HomePod OS, iPad OS, and all of the OSs Apple has on offer. We love to talk about all that stuff here on iOS Today. The apps you can use, the services that are available, and the gadgets that make your devices sing. Today, we are talking about some great topics. We being I, Mikah Sargent.
And me, Rosemary Orchard. Hi, everyone. And yes, I am wearing 2 pairs of Christmas earrings. I have Penelope, the Advent Calendar Penguin here, and a programmable Christmas tree because it's that time of the year.
It's the holidays. Yes, Rosemary is very festive. I have a couple of little, you can't really see them, which is a little disappointing, but I have these little holiday decorations I made, I think 5 or 6 years ago, with some cranberries and some pine cones covered in snow. And soon there will also be a tree in the shot. But today there is no tree, but Rosemary's doing the work for both of us today. So we are good to go. And today is perfect to be talking about the way for you to be able to send messages to those you love, those you like, maybe even those you don't like too much, but whose lives you want to improve. We're talking today about using your iPhone, your iPad, your Apple devices to send season's greetings, because 'tis the season to be jolly. And oftentimes around this year, folks will send out little cards to kind of recap the year and let everybody know what they're up to. So we thought it'd be the perfect time to talk about this as the beginning of the week kicks off, or the beginning of the month rather kicks off. And Rosemary, this is great because usually in years past, Leo Laporte and I would cover this topic, and he and I are both in the U.S., and so we would cover it from a very U.S.-centric standpoint because, you know, those are the apps that we had available. But I'm excited today to go a little bit global so that you can tell us about some of the services that are available outside of the U.S. So if you want to kick things off, then we can dig into what all is available.
Yeah, I'd love to. And I'm going to start with just talking about a service that my family's been using for years. And it's especially relevant this year because for those of you who don't know, who are in the UK, there are postal strikes. So getting cards out is probably something you're going to want to do very, very quickly if you've not already done it. But if you did leave it until the last minute, you could always send an e-card. Yes, those are things that still exist. You could just send an email with a pretty picture in it, but why not go a little bit further with something animated and special? And my parents and I have been using a service called Jacquie Lawson Ecards for years. And they are just lovely sort of animated little stories, which get turned into a card and you write your own personal greeting at the end. There is an entire website available with all of their different cards on, and they've got cards for all sorts of occasions. But their just very delightful. They've got little bits of music to them. Some of them are very twee and very, very silly. Some of them are slightly more grown up and fun, but it's all there are loads of options there depending on what you're looking for. So the app, of course, is free to download. And then Jacquie Lawson itself has a subscription. You can either buy it through the App Store, and I believe it's then $29.99 a year, but you can also purchase monthly through the website. At least that's what I've done in the past. So it's certainly worth checking out. And they've even got a little advent calendar online if you want to go have a poke. So yeah, they've got all sorts of cards. But greetings cards, Mikah, are something that I realized there's a huge cultural difference between our two countries. Because in the UK, what you do is you go buy like a box of cards and you get out a pen and you sit and you write, "Dear blah, 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 Merry Christmas, blah, 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 from Rose." And over there, it feels like you guys kind of send out holiday newsletters, or you get like printed, like special custom cards for your family, which is a very different thing to what we do over here.
Yeah. Every year at the end of the year, I get 4 or 5, maybe 6 cards in the mail, where usually the family has taken a photo together, and then there's just a little update on the back, and wishes you well for the new year. I have yet to participate myself in this end of the year thing, usually because I forget, and then the end of the year comes around, I'm like, oh, I should get around to that, and then don't ever get around to it. But a lot of people I know definitely do this, and so they will, as you point out, sort of create a custom card that is then sent out to a bunch of people, or in some cases, they'll like print out on the front is the photo and all that kind of stuff, but on the back it is customized, and you write out what you want to write out. In any case, it is a pretty common thing for sure to kind of get that update every year. So I always look forward to it because some of my friends are pretty clever and will do little puns and things like that really make it special. But I want to talk about something that has been a really awesome and a service that I've regularly used because of how unique and cool it is. It is called Punkpost. That is Punk Post. And Punkpost is for folks who want to add a little bit of humanity to their automated card sending habits. So I'm going to show an example. Here is one. So here are some different options that they have. Of course, if you got a birthday, that's there. Christmas, the holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Santa and his elves, etc., etc. So let's just tap on the fa la 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 card, and you see right up there at the top it says $7.75. So you know how much the card costs. And this may sound a little expensive at first, but understand that this is not just a card that's getting printed and sent in the mail. This is, first of all, in many cases, like a letterpressed card. So they're beautifully printed. But then what Punkpost does is it hires different folks who are calligraphers or who are artists and who can write very prettily, I guess is the best way to put it. And so you get to actually have, this card gets handwritten by a human being based on what you want. And so each one is custom designed. So they take your message, they see what you want to say, and then some words will be bigger and have sort of little motifs added around them, and it all pops, and you can tell that it was done by a human being because the ink is kind of bleeding in places in a good way. It's not super precise in the nature of something that's printed, where if I zoomed in and looked, I could see all the little dots where it had been printed. So you type out your message, and then this is handwritten by an artist. You get to choose the kind of handwriting style that you want: fun, sweet, elegant, simple, or formal. So I'm just going to type a quick message here: Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, exclamation point. And then I will choose, let's go with elegant. I'm going to, and by the way, so the handwriting styles that are available by default, fun, sweet, elegant, simple, and formal, but you can also choose style preferences. And what I love about this is it goes a little bit deeper. I can choose among those handwriting styles, but I can also say, hey, I really have an accent color that I'd like you to use. So if someone was sending one to me, they'd probably choose green as the accent color, but there's also only use black, match the color of the card, or leave the choice up to the artists. And then for $3, you can request a doodle to be added to the card. So I might say, could you please add a photo, a little doodle of a chihuahua? And then they could do that. Then there's also some different options, including please don't use cursive for people who might not be able to read cursive, no doodles, this is a lover, this is a friend, this is a family member, please write large, keep it kid-friendly, or make it professional. So there are all these little kind of adjustments that you can make when you send this card. What ends up happening is the Punkpost artist sort of gets the alert, and then they can read through your order and be able to choose what they want. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to tap next. And then this is where things continue to be awesome. You can add confetti for $1. What happens is when they open the card, a bunch of confetti will pop out. Well, not pop out, but will fall out. And so it's just a little fun. You can also add photos. They will print out photos on little squares that can be added to the card as well. Each of those is $1.50. And then there's also the option to add gifts, a gift certificate. So you choose how much you want the gift certificate to be, and then the gifts, let's see what they use. So gift certificates can be redeemed for gift cards online to tons of different stores such as Target, Best Buy, and Panera. Your recipient gets to pick where they want to spend it and can divide the money between their options. So they probably are using an online gift certificate store that will have that information in it to be able to kind of choose between the ones that you want. So all of that's built right in the app. So now it's gone from the price that it was before to $30.41 because I chose a gift card. I'm going to close out of that so that it goes back. But I love that you can add photos right here in the app that will be sent to the person as well. I can remember my mom and I use this service a lot to send cards back and forth. And I remember when they added the confetti option, and so then they opened it up and it was a lot of fun. But yes, as Scooter X points out, holiday cards that have a bunch of micro glitter, not as much fun as confetti. Confetti's a lot easier to clean up. But then after that, you can... I'll tap next, and just so you can kind of see here, you can have it access your device's contact list, or you can create a new contact. So let's say this is going to Santa Claus, and let's say the Twit Studio. And then it automatically populates, and it's using, in this case, the built-in mail database. You can add an email if you'd like so that it will make sure that the person knows that it's being sent. I'll save that. And would you like to add Santa Claus as your card's recipient? Yes. So that's all there. And then bada bing, bada boom. Check it out. I've got an Apple Pay payment option right within the app so that I can make sure that so that I can pay right there with it. And what I love too is there is the option to get delivery confirmation where you add your email and then it will let you know, hey, the card has been delivered. And so you should be hearing from the person soon. And if you don't, then clearly the person is rude and is not responding to the fact that you sent the card. So super awesome to very easily create the different kinds of cards that you want. And Punkpost has so many different categories of art that sort of cover the front of the card, but then in the back you have, in the back or within the card, depending on which kind you choose, of course, you can add what you want. There are some premium cards that have like a foil design, so they will actually sort of sparkle and shine, but the cards range between $6 and $10.50, if I remember correctly, with those premium cards being $10.50, the note cards being $6, where the front obviously has the art and the back is blank. That's where the stuff gets added. So yes, Punkpost, big fan of Punkpost. I think that the app is fantastic. The selection is fantastic. And the fact that it's actually made by a real human being is just a nice touch. All right, let us move on to the next app, which is a true classic. Rosemary, tell us about the next one.
Yeah, I can't believe I almost forgot to put this one in the outline, Mikah. I'm ashamed of myself, at least to an extent. So the next one that I want to include is ElfYourself. And so for people who don't know, ElfYourself involves taking a picture of yourself, which I'm going to attempt to do here. And then it gets superimposed on a little elf body. So I'm going to tap Use Photo. It's a pretty good job of recognizing me. And then you tap Next. And you can add some other people as well. So if you've got pictures of other folks, then you can include those. So I'm going to try and pick someone from my camera roll. And I believe I have a picture of my dad around here somewhere. So I'll just try looking for pictures of him. And there he is. That is a suitably silly pose for this. So I'll just rotate his face a little bit. I'm just using a 2-finger sort of tap and zoom for that. And then I'll go with Let's Dance. So of course you can add more people to this. And there are various different free songs that you can try out. And then you just kind of have to pick one, and it is going to play a little video and superimpose your faces onto some elves. I don't have the music playing for very good reasons, but I'm thinking I'm going to need to send this one to my parents, because if you didn't like the idea of a silly e-card, then maybe you would like the idea of a ridiculous video. So you can get a season pass for $5.99 for all of the different songs and dances, or you can download them for I think $7.99. But this is just a ridiculous fun app that I feel like everybody should have downloaded to their device so that they can make their friends and family look ridiculous this holiday season. Whether or not you celebrate Christmas, I believe you should look like a silly Christmas elf at some point, because it's just fun.
Yeah, it's delightful. And I think everybody at some point it feels like everybody at some point has at least appeared in an ElfYourself video. So it's so much fun every year whenever you see those pop around, because you kind of, you see them, they make you laugh, and then they kind of disappear. And so then it comes back, and it's fun every time and hilarious every time. All right, we've got lots more to cover, but I do want to take a quick break real quick to tell you about our first sponsor today, which is 8 Sleep. 8 Sleep is bringing you this very episode of iOS Today. This holiday season, you can give the never-ending gift of deeper sleep. Consistent good sleep can help reduce the likelihood of serious health issues. It can decrease the risk of heart disease. It can lower blood pressure. It can even reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. Yet still more than 30% of Americans struggle with sleep, and feeling hot at night is one of the main causes of poor sleep. I used to sleep so very hot, so warm every single night. I would wake up regularly and need to cool down, because I have this curse of not only sleeping hot, but also needing to have a blanket over me. And so the two of those didn't used to add up very well. Didn't matter if I had the AC running. Didn't matter if I had a window open. I would just still run hot. Oh, so hot. Well, that has changed thanks to my 8 Sleep Pod 2 Pro cover. That has made all the difference because of the thermoregulation that makes it easier for me to fall and stay asleep. Now I'm falling asleep in record time, faster than ever before, and it's all thanks to that 8 Sleep Pod. The pod is a tech layer that fits onto your mattress like a fitted sheet. The pod dynamically cools and heats each side of the bed to maintain the optimal sleeping temperature for what your body needs. With the pod, you can start sleeping as cool as 55 degrees Fahrenheit, or as hot as 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And clinical data shows that 8 Sleep users experience up to 34% more deep sleep. And deep sleep is so very important for our bodies. It is the stage of sleep that will actually help to restore your body. It means that you are going to recover physically, your hormones will be in balance, and you will have more mental clarity because of those deeper stages of sleep. This isn't a holiday miracle, although it may sound like one. If better sleep is on your wish list or the wish list of a loved one, you've heard them complaining about how they're not getting very much sleep or not getting good sleep, well, look no further than the new Pod 3. Check it out. Go to 8sleep.com/iOS for exclusive holiday savings and ring in the most wonderful time of night. 8 Sleep currently ships within the USA, Canada, the UK, select countries in the EU, and Australia. That's 8sleep.com/iOS. Now, if you're listening after December 31st, use the same URL, 8sleep.com/iOS, to check out the pod cover and save $150 at checkout with the normal offer. Thanks so much to 8 Sleep for sponsoring this week's episode of iOS Today. All right, back from the break, and we are talking about sending season's greetings in the mail. The next app that I want to talk about is an app called Felt. Felt is an app that lets you create cards that are even more customized than the one I was talking about before, which was Punkpost. As I mentioned with Punkpost, a human being will actually write out your message. Well, with Felt, you will write out your message. So I am going to start a new card. And you've got some different options here. You can create a square card, which, as you might imagine, is a card that is a square that has a photo or a greeting on it, a 2-card pair. And then there are also some different accordions. So you can create kind of multiple squares that have a message on it and some photos, et cetera, and they kind of separate so you can just keep the photo part of it. So I'm going to choose the perfect pair. And I will tap continue. And then you get to choose kind of artwork that you want, or, and I'll show you in a second, a little bit more than that. So from the designs, I'm going to look into the Happy Holidays section. There's baking spirit sprite. That's funny. Cold hands, warm hearts. So let's do that one. Maybe. There we go. Now it's loaded. Cold hands, warm hearts. And then what I want is to actually add something to the inside. Now, I could either add a photo, which would then print that photo there on that square, so they would be able to keep that and, post it somewhere if they wanted to. I can type something out, or, and this is what's awesome, I'm going to type hand write. And this gives me the ability to either use my finger to write out a message, or I can use the Apple Pencil and write out a message. So I would say, let's say I was sending this to my dog. I'm going to erase this and start over. And then I could write Henry. And this text is a little bit small, so I'm actually going to do that again so that you can see it a little bit better. Boop, boop. And I'm using the calligrapher's pen. All right, so now I can type Henry, Merry, Christmas. And then I will write, and I'm going to switch to the pen for this part. And then I will just write at the bottom, love, Mikah. And so you can see the marker versus the calligraphy pen. And I believe it has some touch sensitivity built in. But the idea here is that you are able to make your own custom design with your actual handwriting so that people can, see that that was written from you. It will be, of course, printed out. So that would be obvious that it's not written directly on the note, but I love that there is this ability to go in and make these adjustments. And then afterwards, you can go through and send your card. Now, one thing to understand about Felt is that it uses a credits system. So cards, instead of just kind of being paid for directly, you buy a certain number of credits and then you cash in those credits to be able to send the cards. So just be mindful of that. But if you are looking for a way to send your own handwriting in the mail, but via an app, then Felt could be a great choice for you. All right, tell us what's next, Rosemary.
Well, the next one that I have down here is more of a quick mention because they primarily prioritize or specialize in birthday cards and so on. But Moonpig is a fabulous name and B, a great service that we use actually at my day job to send cards to people for things like birthdays and so on. But one of their specialties is that they do overnight delivery because they work with many different kinds of couriers. So even if the Postal Service, for example, is on strike, then they will still do their absolute best to get it posted and delivered the next day, or, at the appropriate date that you want. And they do a lot of special offers, and they send out physical cards in the post, which are very nice. Unfortunately, I don't have one here on hand. I thought I did, but it went missing on me. But they just have lots of different cards that you can send, and they are different. They're not the same ones that you find in every single card store as well. And I believe they also work internationally, which is great if you have cards that you need to send abroad. It's one of those things where I was looking at posting cards like my traditional handwritten ones to some folks over in the US. And I think this year I'm going to have to use Moonpig because with the postal strikes and traveling and getting to the post office, it's kind of difficult. And I know some folks really do struggle with being able to get out and about or get to their nearest place to pay for postage. So it's great that all these online services exist.
Yes. All right. Up next is ink cards. And despite its name, which would suggest that maybe this is an app that will let you kind of ink out your own cards, kind of like Felt, that is not the nature of this app. This app is another kind of card app that will let you create different cards, but check this out. This is for the folks who are wanting to send holiday cards. So you can send packs of 10. You can rather get your holiday cards in packs of 10. They have envelopes with them, so then you can send them out to individuals. So you could choose, I'll choose shop holiday cards here. And look at these designs that are here. So I could find a design that I really liked, like the snow globe one. That's cute. And then you can see the front of the card, the back of the card. You can choose the look and feel of it. And so in this case, you might want the card to look like that. And then this, it says choose a handwriting style for a personalized handwritten message in your card. Apply the same handwriting style to the envelope addressing as well. And then this looks like, they call it real script, and it appears that it's some sort of variable typeface, but they say it's not a font. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I've never used this specifically, but you can then, write out the message that you want, and then sign your name if you want to, or of course you can do this afterward, because the whole idea here is that you will be able to send your card. So there are some different options for customizing how the card looks and feels. You can do just a front back style card, which I think is best whenever you're sending out a bunch of different cards to folks. And you can always select your favorites so you can come back to those later. But this is an easy way, again, to find those card packs. But what I like is that Ink Cards also has some gifts that you can find. So an example of this would be, let me find there we go, the holiday collection of gifts. Like a winter fun square mug. So this is a mug. One mug costs $15, and you can customize the name, personalize the name on the front of it. You could choose 2 mugs, of course, and the prices go on from that. You can get some socks that have faces from different family members, a special throw pillow. There are ornaments. There's all sorts of stuff that can be customized, and I think that is a delightful option for a gift, including a plush blanket that you can customize with your family's name or whatever you wanted to add there. So pretty neat options that go outside of the standard ability to just create a card. And that is all via Ink Cards. So that is something well worth checking out. All right, Rosemary, back to you.
Well, Mikah, I do have another one on my list, which some friends have told me some good things about, and that is called Thortful. It's called Thortful, Thortful. That's not spelt quite the traditional way. But it has a number of different cards available inside of it that you can get, and these are intended to be more of the fun side of ones, which can be a little tricky to find at in the holiday season. Am I your favorite child? No. It's time. I'll make the arrangements with a little old farts care home on there. Or yes, Merry Christmas. Tree. This is something that my parents would definitely appreciate. Of course, it varies depending on your friends and family as to if they would appreciate that sort of joke. There's even just cute ones of like this black Labrador puppy wrapped up in fairy lights, and it's a lovely little illustration with a handwritten Merry Christmas above it. What I like about this is you get a choice of sending an A5 card, an A4 card. You can get A6 cards in packs of 4, so that's 4x6 size for Americans. And then there's also the brownie birthday card, the chocolate selection card, and Prosecco with card options. So I think that my favorite thing about this that I really like, though, is that it tells you who the artist is underneath each card. So I can see that this particular one was created by a lady called Lucy Driver, who is in Somerset, which is the next county over from me. I think that this is just a lovely little service where you can get some cards and use them. And very similar to ink cards, Mikah, this one also has other options as well with gifts and so on. So you can get, the chocolate cards and things like that. But there's also a gingerbread brownie mix, which looks pretty tasty, I have to say, or a luxury pamper set, or a gin trio gift set. Lots of different options. So yes, certainly worth checking out if you are looking for something like that.
Very cool, very boozy. There aren't that many options for those, and I think it could be the rules around it or something.
Yeah, posting alcohol across state lines in the United States apparently is very, very complicated. Over here, we have a slightly more unified system, so you are allowed to post alcohol in the post, but no nail polish. So win some, lose some.
Interesting. There you go. Win some, lose some. All right. Let us move on to a little kind of demo, Rosemary, that you wanted to talk about before we head into the news.
Yeah, so I have been organizing my work Secret Santa, and I mentioned a little while ago on the show that I've done this, and I've been using a service called Elfster to help me out for it. But this week is our work Christmas party, hence the slightly brightly colored hair today for any folks who are watching the video. But before our work Christmas party in the morning, yes, before, not after, we are going to have a little presentation where we're going to have kind of a review of the year, see what people have been up to and so on. And one of the things I needed to do was to remind people to bring their present for the work Christmas party, of course. So what I've been doing is I've been playing on my iPad, as you do. So I should mention I've used a great app called iFont to help me install various different fonts on my iPad. And then what I've been doing is I've been playing with a number of different apps. So I've been trying to get like a couple of different icons and so on ready so that I can include them. And I've been using Pixelmator and Affinity Designer for this, and Affinity Publisher a little bit as well. So I'm just going to hide a couple of these layers so I can show folks what I started with. So what I actually did here is I just started with a basic shape that I downloaded from the internet. Our work Christmas party is 1920s themed, so I've been looking for sort of Art Deco images. And then I ended up getting just a layer of glitter and then masking that to match each of these shapes and designs that I've created. And once I'd done all of that, then I could get a little bit more creative and I could open Keynote. Because Keynote, as it turns out, is brilliant. Even though folks at work are using PowerPoint, that's okay. Because what I've done is I've exported this as a movie. Because don't forget, once you created something, then there is actually the option when you go to share it to save it as a film, which is one of the things that I love about Keynote. So I ended up creating, this sort of lovely, it's actually just 2 slides. I've replaced the name of my work with Twit here. But what is really great about this is the animation effects. So Keynote, of course, has a number of presentation tips for me, but that's fine. But I have managed to add some sparkle and some shimmer with some glitter into this little thing, just to remind people, what time are drinks, what time is dinner, and then from there, it disappears in a puff of glitter without appearing all over my house, and then does the same thing on the next slide. And I just thought that this was a really great demo of how fabulous the iPad is, because, like some of these images that I got from the internet, I was mostly using sort of icon packs that you can download, but every so often I couldn't find something that was the right thing, or I could, but like I had to like get it and then like take it out of the background or something. And honestly, the Apple Pencil is just the best tool for this, because you can use it to, color something to select it, or, erase a tool to remove something from it and tidy things up. And it's just amazing how great, this little device is. Like I did this pretty much on the sofa at lunchtime yesterday, and I'm really pleased with the end result. It's amazing how you can put Keynote, Pixelmator, and Affinity, who actually got a whole series of new apps out for folks who don't know, which we should go into on the show at some point, Mikah. Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, Affinity Publisher version 2 is available. There's a 40% off bundle as a side note for folks who are considering that. And I bought the whole suite. They're available for Mac and iOS, or iPad OS specifically, as a bundle when you do that. But this is just such a great use case for this, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks so polished. It's so impressive how polished and pretty it looks.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing what sins glitter will cover. And honestly, just making like all of these effects, like making this look glittery, just makes it look so much fancier. If I'd had the time, I would have glitterified the word twit, but I didn't get a chance to do that, unfortunately. But that's life, isn't it? But what I can do actually is I should be able to show folks, if I go back here and I just tap on this, you can actually use the different fonts that I have installed, or I should be able to if I can find one of them. There we go. So there we go. Young 20s. That's a little bit more 20s themed, don't you think?
Indeed. All right. I think it's time for another break before we come back with the news. And of course, Shortcuts Corner and the rest of the show. I do want to tell you about Adigi, who are bringing you this episode of iOS Today. See, Adigi helps you do more than just manage your Apple devices. It's perfect for you all listening to this show. Adigi is the only fully cloud-based, multi-tenant Apple MDM platform designed for scalability. Adigi gives you the features, the functionality, the flexibility you need to customize and manage your Apple devices how you want. So you can ensure your Apple infrastructure is optimized to best support your environment and help your team be as productive as possible every day. Adigi helps simplify Apple IT management by creating a solution that's so flexible and customizable that any IT team can use it to easily maintain, secure the Apple devices in their managed networks. And Adigi helps you ensure every Apple device, Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more, are secure, are supported, are ready to scale. So what makes Adigi different from the competition? Well, there's zero-touch deployment. You can get new members onboarded securely in under 5 minutes. There's secure authentication with trusted providers. That way you eliminate security gaps with tested, authenticated features your users can rely on. There's real-time device monitoring with automated remediation. So that way you can manage devices in real time and resolve issues automatically before they cause any downtime. Custom compliance features, so that way you can enjoy the peace of mind knowing your Apple infrastructure is always compliant and up to date. Self-service capabilities to free your IT team from endless reset requests with 24/7 user access to resources and applications. Patch management. This will prevent delays. It'll fix bugs early. It will minimize downtime by rolling out new updates and patches ASAP, and the ability to easily customize and scale to meet any needs and adapt to any environment with fast, free, catered migration. This is an MDM tool that works as hard as you do at the speed of now. So get started today with Adigi's award-winning support. When you partner with Adigi, you get white glove support from a team of experts who live, eat, and breathe Apple. They care about your success as much as you do. Adigi isn't a cookie-cutter MDM solution. They're kind of obsessed, but in a good way, with helping you secure and scale your Apple environment. If that sounds good, well, let's get to work. Guarantee your Apple success with Adigi. Visit adigi.com/twit for a fast, free, and easy 14-day trial. Being proactive doesn't have to be a pain in the asterisk. Start your trial and learn why more than 4,000 companies use Adigi to remotely track, configure, manage, and secure their Apple fleet. That's adigi.com/twit. Thank you, Adigi, for sponsoring this week's episode of iOS Today. All right, we are back from the break, and now it is time to talk about the news. The first bit of news I wanted to talk about is something that I think happened this morning. Apple has announced a new feature coming to Apple Music called Apple Music Sing. This is the ability to basically do karaoke with Apple Music. So Apple already has a pretty good lyrics experience where you can, in the music app, view lyrics on the screen and kind of see as it's timed to play along as the song is going. But now there are going to be loads of songs that will be available with this new Sing feature that will let you adjust the vocals and provide real-time lyrics. So you'll have different kind of views that you can use to see the lyrics, but it'll let you sing back up, do whatever you want to do as you are listening along to the music that you want. So I think this is great, including adjustable vocals, so you can sing with the original artist vocals. You can take the lead, you can mix it up by kind of adjusting how loud those vocals are. The lyrics already kind of have a bit of movement built into them, but this is going to get even better. The lyrics, they say, dance to the rhythm of the vocals, so I think that just kind of has the follow along that goes with the words as you're going. Vocal lines, and I'm quoting from the piece here, vocal lines sung simultaneously can animate independently from the main vocals, so you can make it easier for the users to follow. So if there are background vocals that are playing at the same time, those don't get overlapped or overwritten on top of the main lyrics. And then a version called Duet View, where vocalists can show on opposite sides of the screen to make duets or multi-singer tracks easy to sing along to. Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low. I'm imagining that with two singers right side by side. Apple says that there will be 50 companion playlists, 50 playlists that will launch with this when it comes out later this month. It's going to be available worldwide on all compatible iPhone and iPad models and the new Apple TV 4K. So quite a few places where you'll be able to karaoke, although of note, the word karaoke is not used once in this piece.
But I think it's very obviously, Mikah, targeted at folks getting together for the holiday season because, it's one of those things, when I was a kid, everybody used to have like a CD tape player with a microphone attached so that they could do karaoke. And then you got the fancier ones that you could connect with like a video or something to your TV and like play like the lyrics and so on screen. And I feel like, there's some apps out there for that, but there aren't like... It doesn't feel like there's a good solution. So I'm looking forward to this. The microphone with the sparkles in the screenshot gives me hope. I'll have to give it a test over the Christmas period with my parents and see what we think of it as a family.
Absolutely. All right. This next one is definitely one for you to take. It's all about Apple's self-service repair program. There's an update.
Yeah, it's available in Europe. Woo! Finally. So Apple's self-service repair program was available in the US and I believe Canada at launch. And it is now available in Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, Sweden, and the UK. Which means Apple considered the UK part of Europe. Yay! But folks who wish to complete their own repairs will be able to do so for iPhone 12 and 13 devices and Mac notebooks with Apple Silicon. So not the entire suite. If you have an old iPod Mini or an iPod Video that you were hoping to repair using the system, I'm afraid your best resort is still going to be iFixit, or you can get the parts from sort of Amazon, the Pi Hut, Pi Maroni, or wherever, and then picking up the parts on eBay or whatever. But Apple's service is available over here. I'm going to hope that folks have a better experience than you did, Mikah, when you tried to repair a device and you had to ship things back because you only got half the parts before the other half was delivered, before you ran out of time. So, fingers crossed it will work out over here. But there are 3,000 independent repair providers and 5,000 authorized service providers worldwide now, which is good. So fingers crossed, everyone gets to take advantage of this if they need to. But be careful with your devices over the holiday season, folks. It's certainly not going to be fun to try and be fixing one of these in the early new year when all the supply chains are shut down in China for their holiday season.
Indeed. Then we had heard that Apple Pay was going to be launching in South Korea pretty soon. I think both in, all in the rumor mill, but with relative certainty. It appears that there's now a delay due to some concerns over terms and conditions in different places in South Korea. So it may be a little while longer before we see Apple Pay make its way into South Korea as they kind of iron out the details. Next is an interesting story about AirTags. And I find this interesting because I have also had an issue in the past with the problem of trying to sort of replace the batteries in AirTags and then having them work as they needed to. But this was just a quick little piece. So tell us about this one.
Well, I suspect, Mikah, if you or any other folks have had problems replacing AirTag batteries, you've probably ended up buying the ones with the bitterant coating on, the ones that are designed to taste awful if you put them in your mouth so that small children don't eat them. Because guess what? Batteries are not good for your digestive system. Please don't eat batteries. And CR2 or 32 batteries, they're, the small round ones are, the perfect size for pretty much anybody to pick up and put in their mouth. So please don't do that. And they do not work in AirTags. You can take the coating off with like rubbing alcohol, or you can just buy batteries that don't have that on. Basically, the person in the story started, replaced one AirTag battery, and then the next one popped up, and then the next one popped up, and then the next one popped up. And I suspect that there are two things really that are happening here. Number one, like batteries are running out, and he's probably had them for a year or two now. But the other thing is, it's that time of year. Folks, when your smoke alarm goes off at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's always like 3 o'clock in the morning that it goes off at, that's because it's cold. Like your batteries don't work as well when they're cold. They don't have as much capacity, or they just work harder or something. I don't remember exactly what it is, but either way, batteries which are cold don't work well. And so I suspect it's as simple as also like the batteries are being exposed to the cold more at this time of year. And if they are but then they will be running out. It is worth double checking, folks. So you can open the Find My app, and inside the Find My app, you will get a little low battery icon next to any AirTags that are running out of battery. I have actually, unfortunately, replaced all of my batteries, so I don't have one that I can show you in my app. It's just one of those things where it's cold. So check your smoke alarm batteries and also check your AirTag batteries so that you can make sure that you will be notified if there's smoke and you'll be able to find your keys.
I was going to say, I also have replaced the batteries on mine as well. And so there's not, I won't be able to show you, but I have definitely had to replace them in the past. And, it's just a good idea to make that happen as soon as you have the issue. All right. Any other news stories you want to cover before we move on to Shortcuts Corner?
I did just want to mention the HomePod Mini is going to be out in Finland, Norway, Sweden, South Africa, and some other countries pretty soon. It looks like it's coming out December 13th, so that is next week. If you are in one of those Scandinavian or African countries that will be benefiting from the HomePod Mini and you're looking forward to it, then you're going to be able to get it in a choice of 5 colors. I have to say, Mikah, I love my HomePod Minis. They're great. And they are just, lovely devices to have around the house, and affordable HomeKit hubs as well if you need one of those. I'm glad to see that those will be joining us.
Absolutely. They are delightful, and they sound great for as small as they are. One big thing, this is really exciting, and it's hard to believe, just time keeps on passing. Rosemary, you joined this show 100 episodes ago. This is your 100th episode on the show. Holy moly. Thank you. You have brought so much value to the show. You are I love working with you. First and foremost, I love knowing you. I think that our listeners have benefited so much from the expertise that you bring to the show. And so I am so happy that all that time ago, when I reached out and asked if you would be willing to co-host the show with me, that you said yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that I got to join you and the Twit folks to do this, because this is such a fun show to do. And I love all of our listeners who write in and email us and send messages and so on. You know, somebody sent a message a little while ago on Instagram saying that they feel like the show is a really inclusive, fun place to learn things about iOS. And that is what this is all about. You know, everybody can learn something, even if you have been using the iPhone since it existed, and the first iPod and the first Mac. There's still fun things that we can learn and share together. So yay. Thanks for having me, folks. It's been great to, have started 100 episodes ago, and let's keep going, shall we?
Yes, we shall. Yeah, I did want to make that clear. This was not a goodbye. This is a continuing on, but just a celebration that, wow, we've been doing this together for a while now. All right. Yeah. It is time for Shortcuts Corner. Welcome to Shortcuts Corner, the part of the show where you write in with your shortcuts requests, and Rosemary Orchard, the shortcuts expert, provides a response. A quick update: we did get that shortcut over to Steve Martin, and Leo said that he responded to say thank you, that it worked great, and also he said something along the lines, and I'm paraphrasing now, something along the lines of, I, at the very least, owe them a brief nod in their direction. So we have had a brief nod in our direction sent our way from Steve Martin, which was, a delightful thing.
Yes, that is always lovely to hear. It's great to hear from folks who have been enjoying shortcuts and learning things and solving things. We've got some feedback today about somebody who solved something with a shortcut. And I personally think that automation is great. And I've automated a Christmas tree, Mikah. In fact, I've got 2 automated Christmas trees now. But for folks who aren't willing to go whole automated Christmas tree, I did want to mention that you can get a smart Christmas wreath. Yes. Twinkly, the folks who make the customizable, programmable Christmas tree lights have a Christmas wreath that you can get. So it's just a circular garland with twinkly lights on it. But you can address those lights and make them do different things. And I have the same lights on my Christmas tree. I was just hoping that I could grab a video, but unfortunately I don't have one handy. I will have to see if I can get that for next week for everyone. But twinkly lights are really lovely. So yeah, I wanted to mention that you can get a wreath, because why not?
That is awesome. Yeah, especially from Twinkly, because of the way that those lights work. It's so great.
Yes,
now,
exactly.
Tell us about your tree.
Yeah. So, I have one Christmas tree with twinkly lights on it, and I've got this one here. This. So this is actually a dumb Christmas tree that I bought a while ago. So I'm sure folks have seen this sort of thing in various places. It's just plastic Christmas tree, right? A clear plastic Christmas tree. It did have some batteries in the bottom with a teeny tiny rubbish little LED. It was awful, genuinely awful. Like you turned it on, you couldn't even tell it was turned on unless the room was dark. So I got a little nerdy, and this is going to be really difficult to show off now, so I'm just going to have to pop that down. There we go. And I picked up one of these NeoPixel LED rings, and it's good that it's so bright because you can see the colors, if you're watching the video, moving around on this. I've got it set to the rainbow effect right now, but this is brilliant because it fits nearly perfectly inside of here. And then you get a lovely little diffuser effect when you pop the tree on. And the best part of it is it's got Wi-Fi control, Mikah. So I can control this from my phone.
Wow.
So I've just put that back. And what I will do, and this I am going to have to when I pop up my phone, I'm just going to move my phone a little bit, or I'm going to try and move my phone a little bit. There we go, so that you can still see the tree properly. Because otherwise, folks, you're not going to be able to actually see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to pop open. And now I don't have this set up in HomeKit yet. I could add it to HomeKit anytime I wanted to, but I've just left it in Home Assistant for the time being, which is the app that I am using to control this. So as folks might have seen, there were just 3 wires there to connect this together. And I used something called ESP Home to do that. It wasn't very difficult. You don't actually even have to do any soldering if you buy the right device, buy the right little parts. But what I've got here is I've got the ability to control my Christmas tree. So I can change the light level, so I can dim it all the way down if I want to, make it a little brighter, and then back to full brightness. And I can change the effects. So in person, this is like shimmering, like it's a green with like little blues and yellows and so on in. But you can change it to do all sorts of different things. So it's doing fireworks, which is a little flashy. It's got a sort of flicker option, or it should have a flicker option in there. It's not showing up on video, or you can just cycle rapidly through colors, but you can also just set it to be an individual color. And the best part of this is, because I'm using Home Assistant, I can actually control this with shortcuts too, because, who doesn't want to be able to control their Christmas tree using some shortcuts? Or, decide that for the time being, maybe they want a purple Christmas tree, which unfortunately doesn't show up super purple on camera. But you know what? Maybe if I turn the lights off, we'll see. Still not very purple. Oh well, we'll have to leave it there for next time. But yes, I have a fun programmable Christmas tree, which I can program using shortcuts if I want to.
Beautiful. All right, let's get into some shortcut stuff. First, you wanted to mention a 6 colors. Oh no, I'm sorry. Here we go. From Stephen. Stephen writes in, "Hi. I'm having a hard time creating an Apple Note using the share sheet on iOS and including a smart tag. For example, I have a smart tag, #movie I'll use. I have a smart folder set up to show, I need to arrange this. There we go. All right. For example, I have a smart tag, #movie I'll use. I have a smart folder set up to show all notes with this hashtag. If I add something using this hashtag with the share sheet, it won't recognize it as a hashtag and seems to add the tag movie as regular text and not as the tag, thus adding it to the Apple Notes smart folder. Any advice about solving this? Thank you, Stephen." So to clarify, there are metadata tags that you can add to your Apple Notes notes. And when you add these tags, it seems like every operating system wants everybody to be super into tags. I'm not a big tagger, but regardless, some people are, which is great because Apple provides these tools. So I could have my notes, and maybe one of my tags is #dogs. And those are notes about, Henry's last vet appointment, or, Missy's behavior after she takes anxiety medication or something. And then I could have little recipes that I keep in notes. And so I would do #recipe. And so you may have different ones, #iOS today for notes that I want to make sure are included in iOS today. The system will then give you the ability to filter through all of your notes looking for those tags, #dogs, #iOS today, #recipe, and just show you those notes. But it needs to be recognized as that metadata tag. It actually needs to appear as a tag. When Stephen is using shortcuts, it is not populating it as a metadata tag. Instead, it is just adding it as plain text in the note. So it says #movie, but it's not showing up as a tag in that note. Stephen is wondering if this can be solved.
Yes. Well, Stephen's asking specifically, he's using the share sheet to share this, and it's not doing what it's doing right here, where the word movie is in, gray text when it's being edited and yellow text when it's not. But if I were to just type movie, then that is not a tag, obviously. And then if I add the hash in front of it, it does recognize it as a tag because I'm inside of the Notes app. But when you do it from the share sheet, that doesn't happen. And so I actually thought of a couple of different solutions for this because, of course, there are lots of ways to solve this problem. So one of the things that I thought about is you could just use shortcuts to create the note. And so you can create a note and you can just pop in a little ask each time there to create a note and then add the movie tag to that note. So that's one way to do that. But another way that I thought of to do this, which perhaps is a better way, because one of the things I found is folks who are trying to solve a problem but have to completely change how they do things will struggle to do that. So instead of sharing to notes, you have to go and find the right shortcut to create the shortcut. That doesn't feel like that's as good a solution. And also, I'm guessing, Stephen, you've probably got some existing notes that you've got this problem with. So what you could do is you can find notes where the body contains hashtag movie. If I could type, that would be even better. And then what you can do is you can actually then just have it add tags to these notes. So you tap and hold on the notes in that second action, and then you can just tap on tags and select your existing tag, and voila. And this will find all of the notes where the body contains hashtag movie, but it's not, it doesn't matter whether or not it's a tag, and then it will just add the movie tag to it. Simple. Very simple. And I think that this is probably going to be the right solution for you, because then you'll be able to do whatever it is you like. And you can reuse this with a number of different things as well. You could use that to move things to different folders. You can even use it to then open that movie tag afterwards if you want to, or you can go to a specific folder and view whatever it is you like. So I think Stephen, we have a shortcut solution for you. That may not necessarily be what you were looking for specifically, but there is one setting I did want to mention that exists inside of Notes that you should be aware of, which is the ability to automatically recognize tags. I don't remember where this setting actually is in Notes, ironically. I've just had a little bit of a poke around to try and remember where it is, and I'm not finding it right now. But there should be an option somewhere to try and automatically recognize tags. It may be in the settings, but what you can do is inside of shortcuts. Believe me, you can change that setting to enable auto convert to tag. Now, I suspect the auto convert to tag is on because that's how you're getting the effect where if you write it in Notes, it works. And if you do it from the share sheet, it doesn't work. But it's definitely worth making sure that setting is enabled.
So I've launched the Settings app. I've tapped on Notes, and down at the bottom, there is an option that says Tags. Perfect. And then underneath that is Auto Convert to Tag. Typing a space automatically converts text to tag. So that is there, although maybe if it's being added via the shortcuts, then it's not. Maybe I wonder then if you could have it add a tag with a space. Add a tag with a space after it by way of the shortcut. If it would then make it appear as a tag, or if it has to be done in the Notes app in order for it to be recognized as a true tag. I
think it has to be done inside of the Notes app for that recognition to take place, because otherwise it's going to have to process all of the words in a note that it receives. And that doesn't sound like a big deal when you're just adding, I don't know, say, for example, what was it? Wayne's World. Wayne's World is something that somebody told me I had to rewatch the other day. If you're just adding Wayne's World with hashtag movies to your notes, that's fine. If you add War and Peace as a note, it's going to take a while to process that. And I can imagine your iPhone or iPad getting a little bit warm while going through trying to look for tags and all of that. So I suspect that it's only text that's typed inside of Notes, which is why I think that this shortcut here, where it's just going to go through, it'll find all the notes where the body contains movie. And you can even say where tags, or you could inverse filter this afterwards to find all the ones where it doesn't have the tag to avoid processing those, but you don't really need to worry about it. It's a very simple little solution, and I will make sure that we include a link to both of these in the show notes.
Beautiful. All right, time for another quick break before we come back with the rest of the show. I want to tell you about a great service called Rocket Money, who are bringing you this episode of iOS Today. Rocket Money has saved me money because it's helped me with my subscriptions. You may be wasting money on subscriptions. 80% of people that Rocket Money surveyed have subscriptions they forgot about. Maybe for you, it's an unused Amazon Prime account, a Hulu account that never gets streamed. Well, there is a great app out there that can help you track all of your expenses. And because of it, I'm no longer wasting money on subscriptions I don't even use. What's the app? I told you, it's Rocket Money. Rocket Money used to be known as Truebill, and Truebill has been mentioned a number of times on iOS Today. Leo Laporte had mentioned it, and then I ended up getting it because of his recommendation. And then it became Rocket Money, and it is awesome. It is really amazing. I mean, when you think about how much your subscriptions really cost, it can kind of be mind-blowing, and it makes you reconsider whether or not you want to be keeping some of these subscriptions. See, most Americans think they spend around $80 a month. $80 a month on subscriptions. What is that? $960, nearly $1,000 a year. Turns out they're actually spending closer to $200 a month on subscriptions, which is $2,400 a year. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions that you didn't even know about. And I know some of you out there are going, I don't know what world you live in, but I know every single transaction that comes in on my account. I believe you. And I thought I did too. And then there was one or two that I just missed in my normal sort of, going through and making sure that I guess my stuff hasn't been stolen or taken. And I go, oh, why am I still paying for that? I don't need to be paying for that anymore. The Rocket Money app shows all your subscriptions in one place. And the chef's kiss beauty of it is that it can help you cancel the subscriptions you don't want anymore. It can even find subscriptions you didn't know you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged in some cases for a subscription. And to cancel a subscription, all I have to do is press the cancel button and Rocket Money can take care of the rest. There was one service where I didn't want to do it anymore, but I didn't want to have to go through the whole process of canceling, blah, 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 blah. I just was able to hit that button and then that subscription was gone. It was amazing. And in some cases, they can help you lower the cost of a subscription. It's magical. There was one service that I wanted to cancel, and there was no simple cancel button for it. But what was amazing is, you know how you try to find these sites that the support site, and you are looking for the phone number, you're looking for the email that you're supposed to use, and you have to jump through all of these hoops to finally get connected with someone. I hit the little cancel button inside of the Rocket Money app, and they weren't able to help me cancel it automatically, but they did surface the number and the email I needed to get in touch with in order to do it myself. I would have spent so long trying to find it on the site. Rocket Money surfaced it right there. It was amazing. And that's why I love using Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. So get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/iOS. I'm not joking, folks. Just go get it, check it out, download it. They use Plaid to connect to the transactions. So I love that it's got that secure connection there. It's very easy, if you don't want it anymore, to break that connection. It can save you hundreds per year. That's rocketmoney.com/iOS. Cancel your unnecessary subscriptions right now at rocketmoney.com/iOS. And thank you, Rocket Money, for sponsoring this week's episode of iOS Today. All righty. First up in feedback is a question from Colleen, who writes, "Hi, Mikah and Rosemary. I've been watching your show going on 2 years via Apple's podcast app and never thought that I would benefit by watching your Shortcuts Corner because I always thought that shortcuts were more for the Apple power users. But I proved that wrong today. I noticed my iPhone 12 automatically going into low power mode, and no matter how many times I turned it off, the next day it was back on. After watching episode 628, Plan and Prepare Your Holiday Get-Togethers, yes, I am a little behind in watching your show, I thought maybe there was a shortcut to stop the low power mode from automatically turning on. Well, good news is that I got my first shortcut to work, and I know that shortcuts are not just for Apple power users, but they're for everyone, no matter your knowledge with Apple products. I also downloaded polls for iMessage. Thank you, Mikah, for that suggestion. Thank you for your show and the information that you pass on. Have a good one, Colleen." I love this. This is great.
Yeah. Yes, shortcuts aren't just for power users. So for anybody who wants to know, wait, how did Colleen do this? I'm going to give you a very quick demo. So you open the Shortcuts app, go to the Automation tab, you tap on the plus, you create a personal automation, and you look for low power mode. And you look for when low power mode is turned on, and then you check that one. And then you can just search for low power mode. You don't need to scroll around for it. It will be under the device settings option. Usually. And of course, my iPhone is being a little silly there. There we go, scripting. So set low power mode, and you just say turn low power mode off. And then, most important, tap turn off as before running. And that's it. That's all you need to do. And then your phone will never go into low power mode. I actually have the inverse where it checks if I'm on holiday, like if I'm not at home, and it will turn it back on when it turns off. So I'm not going to save this one because otherwise I'm never going to use low power mode again, and that will drive me crazy until I remember how I did that. But it's really simple. Seriously, folks, you can do so many great things with just one action. You should give it a try if you didn't already.
Beautiful. And then we've got another one from Robert, who has written in. Hello, Mikah and Rosemary. I've been a long time watcher of iOS Today, all the way back to the Leo and Sarah days of iPad Today. I've had my Apple TVs and HomePod Minis for a while now, and just took the leap into home automation with a couple Casa smart plugs and Philips Hue Bridge and smart lights, and love the experience so far. My question is, what Wi-Fi router do you recommend for connecting many smart devices that will work the best with HomeKit? I'm still using the older Apple Time Capsule and want to upgrade. And then we'll get into the second part of this. And thank you in advance, and keep doing what you're doing. Robert of Traverse City, Michigan. Robert, thank you for writing in. Thank you for your question. I will have to see if Rosemary and I have separate answers. I will say that I have been an Eero home for a long, long time. The Eero mesh system is fantastic. It supports loads of devices. What I like too is that I can see every single device that's on my network, make adjustments to them if I want to. I could, if I wanted to, group all of the HomeKit devices into kind of one profile and then say, hey, these devices can never use more than this amount of data whenever they're kind of doing what they're doing. And that's kind of to help keep them from connecting to the internet and sending a bunch of usage data at once or what have you. But what also makes it great is that Eero devices, the Eero routers, support Apple's HomeKit setup, where you can set up some special custom filtering. It's a bit like a firewall. It's not exactly that, but it does help protect you and your local network from those devices somehow being hacked and then sort of reaching out and connecting to other sources that they shouldn't be connecting to. So between offering HomeKit connectivity, also supporting the Thread protocol, which is, you know, out in some cases and right around the corner in other cases, and then the fact that they are great mesh networking devices that will let you sort of, you know, fill your whole home with Wi-Fi connectivity. That is my pick for Wi-Fi router. Rosemary, I'm curious if you have a different one.
Okay, I'm going to have a very surprising recommendation here, Mikah. I don't know if you're ready for this. I'm going to recommend Eero. I don't know if anyone's heard of them before. Yeah, I definitely recommend Eero. I recommended them to Wonder Warthog in the Club Twit Discord a little while ago, and he'd had a Time Capsule or Airport Express system before and upgraded and said the difference is night and day. Now, the only thing I'm going to tack on to this recommendation is hubs are good. Okay, I know everyone's like, oh, I don't want a hub I don't want a hub. Like, it's like too much stuff. Like, the beauty of a hub, say for example Philips Hue, is you've then got one device that connects to your network, and then it connects to all of its devices and brings them all together. Okay, so a Hue, for example, is using Zigbee, which is great. And you know, the beauty of that is it's a self-extending network as well. So, for example, all the light bulbs build their own mesh so that other things can connect to it. So I would definitely recommend look at those devices with hub systems as well, and just, you know, don't knock them right off the bat. Wi-Fi devices, you tend to end up with a lot of them. And from personal experience, pretty much everything in this office is connected to my home automation system somehow. The more devices that you can get off of your internet, the better it is. So yeah, I would just say, if you can look into, non-Wi-Fi devices, you're probably going to have a pretty good time as well. But Era is definitely my router recommendation of choice.
Beautiful. Very easy. And then Robert says, attached is my pet tax, a photo of our 7-year-old black lab, Buddy. Hello, Buddy. Look at Buddy. What a handsome lad. Now this, of course, the pet tax is a tax that you don't have to pay, but we love it when you do, where you include photos of your pets with your requests in your Shortcuts Corner questions. So thank you, Buddy, for brightening the day. And thank you, Robert, for sending in your question. All right, I think I can hear the music because it's time for our app caps. This is the part of the show where you write in with, no, not where you write in. This is the part of the show where we wear caps atop our heads to honor our app and gadget picks of the week. These are the apps and gadgets we're using now, or maybe have been using for a long time, that we think are great and want to share with all of you. And then we put goofy things in some cases, or delightful things in other cases, atop our heads as a way to honor those picks. Rosemary Orchard, tell us about your app or gadget pick of the week. And, of course, tell us about the cap atop your head.
Well, the cap atop my head, Mikah, it's not really a cap. It's more of a headband. I'm going to slouch down a little bit so people can see it. So I've got a lovely green velvet headband on, okay? And then there's a little green velvet sort of triangle with a fold, like it sort of droops over at the top with some red ribbon wrapped around it. A little red sort of, with diagonally cut pieces of felt in front of that with a little bit of feathering. And then on the end of that little triangle of green, yep, that's a little jingle bell because I'm wearing a little elf headband because yes,
so cute.
I am getting into the season. And who doesn't want to get into some seasonal spirit and, maybe spend some time chatting to some friends, but maybe you've got a MacBook and you love using your MacBook, but the camera in your MacBook drives you crazy. And yeah, I mean, it would do, especially when you've got, say, a really great iPhone 14 Pro or an iPhone 12 or even an iPhone, earlier than that. But you want to be able to use it with continuity camera. Well, as long as your iPhone's got MagSafe, I've got a recommendation for you. The Belkin iPhone mount for MagSafe for Mac notebooks. So I have this, unfortunately, in the other room, but I've got the box here. But this is just a magnetic puck that sticks on the back of your iPhone, and then you balance your iPhone on the back of your Mac. And that's it. It's simple. But when you put your iPhone next to your Mac like that, unless you have disabled this in the settings of your iPhone, it will automatically enable continuity camera and allow you to use your iPhone as a camera. Now, I should also note that this does work as like a stand where you can just, if you're looking at the video, you can probably see just about that there's a little icon in the bottom left, which is very difficult to see, but it's actually like the MagSafe puck stuck to the back of the iPhone, and then it's in a landscape pose, sort of like horizontally on your desk. That would work as well, but it's more of a just stand when you do that. But I have to say, I've been trying this out, testing it, and I'm really pleased with the performance of both continuity camera and also, this Belkin adapter. MagSafe mount. It's not really an adapter because it does enable full continuity camera. So if you've seen that effect before where the camera is following you as you move, I'm not using it here because I didn't want to make everyone seasick because I would be moving around my office and, the camera would be following me, which is okay, but probably not the best for this show. But yeah, this is something that is just a really great thing. And the best part of this is it's $29.99, but that's a one-time purchase and continuity camera is free. And you don't have to have this to use continuity camera to get your iPhone working as a webcam for your Mac. You can just use it straight away and hold your iPhone there or do whatever it is you like. I personally think that this is a great device. It is a little tricky to get a hold of at times, but even if the Apple Store says that there are delays and it won't arrive with you for weeks, from personal experience, it will probably come faster than they say, because I ordered it and they said it would be delivered in a month, and then it arrived last week. So I was pretty pleased with that. And so yeah, if you are looking to use your iPhone as your camera on your Mac, well, give Continuity Camera a go. And if you like it, then maybe pick up the Belkin MagSafe mount to go with it.
Lovely. The cap atop my head is a Kansas City Chiefs hat that lights up. My mom sent me this whenever the Chiefs were playing in the Super Bowl. I don't know if that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Whenever that was, she sent me this because we were facing off against a California team. And so she thought it was hilarious because, of course, I had to rep her team. And Leo was repping the team from California, the 49ers, the 49ers. I think that's who he was repping. So anyway, Kansas City Chiefs versus the 49ers, that Super Bowl. But it lights up and it's cute and it's wintry. So that's why I'm wearing it. All right. The app I'm talking about is actually a throwback to last week. I wanted to give this a little bit of more time to talk about it, because I've been using it and I really think it is a great app that folks should check out. First of all, it's completely free. And sometimes whenever there's a free app, you go, okay, if it's free, what are they doing? This app is supported by donations. That's what keeps it running. And it is the app called How We Feel. It has won a App Store Award for 2022 for being a cultural influence. And this app is just an app for checking in. So throughout the day, you're meant to check in a few times, kind of depending on how you feel. And it will also send you notifications. So I'm going to tap to check in right now. And it starts with 4 options. I'm feeling high energy and unpleasant, high energy and pleasant, low energy and unpleasant, or low energy and pleasant. In this case, I will choose high energy and pleasant. And then there are some options to kind of define how I'm feeling at the moment. Surprised, in awe, exhilarated, excited, enthusiastic, cheerful, curious, focused, alive, confident, motivated, optimistic, productive, inspired, empowered, amazed. I'm going to choose, I'm feeling... where was it? I had it there for a moment. Upbeat. So I'll tap on upbeat, and then I have the option of adding a current photo if I want to, a voice note, depending on how I'm feeling, a note of text. So in this case, I will add a voice note, tap and hold to record. Okay, give it access to the microphone, and now I'm talking. I am recording iOS Today right now, and I'm feeling upbeat as I record this show. And I'll tap stop. And I don't know if you can hear, you probably couldn't hear that, but it played it back for me. And then I could add a photo if I wanted to, but this is where it's great. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? So where am I? I'm at home. What am I doing? I am recording a show. And so I can type that in. And then who are you with? I'm with coworkers in this case. And then it will also have some information about your health. So how much sleep you got, how much exercise you've done thus far. I'll tap save. And that is 2 check-ins. It will start to give you trends. And what's great about this is using all those tags and all those, the time of day, how much sleep you got, the exercise that you've got, and it combines all of that together to try to figure out some patterns. Hey, you tend to feel low energy and unpleasant at this time of day when you haven't eaten or what have you. And there are then options for some listening experiences that will help you kind of regulate your emotions and then also better understand your emotions. So it talks about kind of this I love. Are you an emotion scientist or an emotion judge? And so it talks about the difference between judging your emotions. So when you have a feeling, looking at it and saying, I don't want to feel that way, or looking at it and observing the emotion, understanding the emotion. So there's a lot of great psychology in this app as well, with these little exercises that can help you whenever you're feeling certain ways. You can add friends to this so that you can kind of check in with other people. If you know a friend is feeling down, maybe, and they're the type of person who feels up by being able to communicate with others, they can. And so you could add that as well. And then Analyze is currently not going to show anything because I haven't been using it long enough. But once I get enough check-ins in, then the Analyze section, again, will sort of bring all of those data points together to give me more. So I like the simplicity of this app and the kind of word-based way that it works. It is something that clicks with me more than any of the other apps I've used in the past for this kind of thing, emotion tracking, where it required too much input for me rather than just being able to quickly kind of check in with myself, see how I feel, and then be done and move on. So check that out in the App Store. It's available for free. And again, supported by donations. So that's what keeps it going. And it's just nice to have that journal of well-being. Folks, that brings us to the end of this episode of iOS Today. I hope that you got some great apps to check out for sending season's greetings in the mail, whether you're in the US or elsewhere. And of course, if you have questions, if you have feedback, if you have Shortcuts Corner requests, those can all go to iostoday@twit.tv. That's just one of the places they can go. And we love it whenever you tune in to watch the show live. Those of you in our Club Twit Discord and those of you in our IRC, thank you for being here. We record the show live every Tuesday around about 9 a.m. Pacific, so you can tune in at twit.tv/live to watch the show as we record it. But we think the best way to get the show is by subscribing or following, which you do by going to twit.tv/iOS. There, on that page, you will find links to subscribe to the show in audio and video formats, so you can check us out very easily. And we try to be on all the platforms, so you can select the platform that you want to use and then subscribe to the show in your favorite app or service of choice. So that, again, is at twit.tv/iOS. For those of you who would like an ad-free experience, well, we have a way for you to do that. It's called Club Twit at twit.tv/clubtwit. Starting at $7 a month or $84 a year, you can join the club. And when you do, you get some pretty great stuff. First, you get every single Twitch show with no ads, because instead of the sponsors supporting the show, it is you supporting the show. So you get ad-free content. You also get access to the Twit Plus bonus feed that has extra content you won't find anywhere else, behind the scenes, before the show, after the show, that kind of stuff, as well as special events that happen in our Club Twit Discord. Speaking of which, that is that third benefit that you get. You get to join the club. Discord, if you've never heard of Discord, it's a lot like Slack or Microsoft Teams. So you've got these different channels that you can talk to your fellow Club Twit members and those of us here at Twit via the Discord. And we try to be active with the shows as well. So tuning in while the show is playing, you can kind of chat along, and then afterwards chat with your fellow members in other channels, you know, covering all sorts of topics. And you get access to some great shows. The Untitled Linux Show, which, as you might imagine, is a show all about Linux. The Hands on Windows program, which is a short format show from Paul Thurrott, all about Windows with tips and tricks and all sorts of stuff. And then my show, Hands on Mac, which is a show, as you might imagine, all about Apple devices. So I've got lots of tips and tricks and apps and services worth checking out that make your Apple experience better. That's right. I don't just cover the Mac. I cover all sorts of things. My most recent episode was how to get your Apple Music Replay, which is the Apple Music version of Spotify. Spotify Wrapped. So if you've seen your friends post to those Spotify Wrapped playlists, well, you can do that too with Apple Music Replay. So check that out. That is that. So twit.tv/clubtwit, starting at $7 a month, $84 a year. Rosemary Orchard, if folks want to follow you online and check out all your great work, where should they go to do so?
Well, the best place, Mikah, is to go to rosemaryorchard.com, which has links to all the things I do all around the internet, including this podcast and some others. And of course, some books that I've written. You can also find me on social media, micro.blog and Twitter with the usernames Rosemary Orchard. And I am Rosemary Orchard at snailedit.social on Mastodon. And for those watching the show, I did just add virtual Christmas lights. Yes. But I could have turned into a reindeer instead. So, you know, you can do fun things on the internet. Who knew?
That's amazing. I can be found online at Mikah Sargent on many a social media network, or you can head to chihuahua.coffee. That's CHIHUA.coffee, where I've got links to many of the places I'm most active online. So that's just kind of a shortcut to get there. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm looking forward to the holiday cards I will receive from all of you now that you know for sure the Twit address. So, you know, write one to me. I'd love to get that. And Rosemary and I will be back next week with another episode of iOS Today. Goodbye.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Ant Pruitt, and I am the host of Hands on Photography here on Twit TV. I know you got yourself a fancy smartphone, you got yourself a fancy camera, but your pictures are still lacking. Can't quite figure out what the heck shutter speed means? Watch my show. I got you covered. Want to know more about just the ISO and exposure triangle in general? Yeah, I got you covered. Or if you got all of that down, you want to get into lighting, making things look better by changing the lights around you. I got you covered on that too. So check us out each and every Thursday here on the network. Go to twit.tv/hot and subscribe today.